Saying I am Sharon Oren. I'm the education manager for Coastal Roots Farm. And Megan here, she's the education coordinator. And we have put this program together, and we will have four other counselors, camp counselors, and 2 assistants with those counselors. So 6 total with us this summer, and Megan and I will be down on the farm each day with the kids. So Megan will get us started, and then we'll move on to me.
Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. Yes. So first of all, welcome to everybody. We're super excited to be able to host summer camp this year. We went back and forth, and, we've tried really hard to ensure everybody's safety and make sure that we can still provide this service for everybody and an opportunity for kids to get together and hang out outside and really make a meaningful summer. So just some basics to start out. So camp hours this summer are going to be half days. We're going to be hosting camp from 9 to 12:30. And that was one of the ways that we were able to make sure camp happened this summer, was by creating a half-day camp. We do also have before care available, and that's available from 7:30 to 9 a.m. We do actually require reservations for this summer because, as we'll talk about later on, we will be splitting the groups up into pods, and therefore we want to make sure that we're able to give the specific counselors of your students that are wanting before care notice in advance that they will be coming in earlier. And so please make sure you make those reservations, and reservations for that can be found on our farm camp section of our website that we'll have the link to at the end of the slideshow. And then we have a super fun camp planned for your kids, and all of the activities are going to be coming to them through a Jewish lens. And so this camp is open to all students of all backgrounds. This isn't a camp that is based in religion. We're just a Jewish community farm. And a lot of the way that we grow our food, a lot of the way that we interact with the community comes from Jewish values and traditions. And so we want to be able to elevate those and talk about them and make them relevant to all students, regardless of their backgrounds. And these activities will have the same type of activities every day with a different theme that we'll be talking about a little bit more in the next slide. But we'll be doing Shomrei Adama, which was also what we refer to as farm chores. And this is the kids' opportunity to really understand what it's like to be a farmer. They're going to have the opportunity to interact with our chickens, feed our chickens, maybe even get to collect eggs. We're going to visit our vermicompost and learn how to compost. We're going to be doing your typical garden chores like weeding, watering, planting, harvesting. So a lot of really fun activities to learn how to be a farmer. We're also going to be doing STEM science time, so getting an opportunity to maybe do some experiments as well as look in microscopes. We'll be doing arts and crafts. We'll be doing our opening and closing circles, where we'll integrate songs and stories and opportunities to connect with the other students and get to know each other. And then, of course, what my favorite part is, we're going to be harvesting, making, and eating farm fresh snacks. So every day the students are going to have the opportunity to harvest something from the garden and make a really, really tasty snack using that.
Oh, are there any questions so far?
I don't see any in the chat box yet.
Great.
So now just an overview of our schedule. So as you can see there, these are the dates and the session numbers. If you signed up back in April, we did renumber our sessions. And so just be aware of that, but any of the dates that you signed up for, that is the dates that you're coming to camp. And then you can see that each session is corresponds with a different curriculum, either an A curriculum or a B curriculum. And so our A weeks are going to have deep dives into agricultural concepts and cycles. So we'll be talking a lot about soil building and seeds and pollination. And then our curriculum B will be talking about different Jewish holidays, specifically our agricultural holidays like Shavuot, Sukkot, Tu B'Shvat, and Pesach. And we'll be going into those Jewish holidays from an agricultural and garden skill-based lens. And so you can see these cute little campers here. This is from last summer. This is from our Shavuot day. And they went around and marked their first fruits. This was their bikurim, and then they went and harvested them. So always tying in those agricultural concepts, just through a little bit of a different lens. So this slide is really talking about how you all can prepare for your first day of camp. And so the first thing is we want to make sure that campers bring the following things. We encourage some sort of backpack or bag so that they can put all of their stuff in it. A reusable water bottle is super, super important, especially being outside all day. We encourage some weather protection. We will be outside the entire day. So give them a hat to bring, layers if it's colder in the morning versus in the afternoon. If you see rain in the forecast, maybe some rain gear, poncho, umbrella, that sort of thing. We also are asking people to bring, or campers to bring, a cloth face mask. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit more later. Initially, that wasn't something we were going to be requiring. However, with Governor Newsom's mandate last Thursday, we are now asking campers to bring a face mask, and Sharon will go into more details about that later and address any concerns there. We're encouraging campers to bring sunscreen, and we will be encouraging them probably at snack time to reapply. And then if you would like, you can send your camper with some hand sanitizer. We will have hand sanitizer with us, and we will be utilizing that throughout camp. However, if you have a specific kind that your camper likes, or if you just want them to get in the habit of utilizing that, then they're more than welcome to bring their own. And then a snack. And so we will not be allowing students to share food or snacks throughout camp, and Sharon will talk more about that later. And so it's really important that each camper, even if you're sending, multiple campers from the same household, please make sure each camper has their own snack coming in an individual lunchbox. With that being said, please make sure you label your camper's belongings with their names. We always, without a doubt, get lost and found at the end of the week, and we would love more than anything to return these items to their owners, but we can't if we don't know who they belong to. So please label it, especially things like water bottles. We definitely don't want kids accidentally ending up with somebody else's water bottle, so please make sure you label those. In addition to that, campers should each day wear closed-toed shoes and clothes that they don't mind getting dirty. We are going to be in the soil. We are going to be getting our hands dirty. We're going to be running around. We're going to be getting our energy out, and we don't want them to worry about getting their clothes dirty. We want them to have fun. We want them to be farmers, and so just send them in anything you don't care too much about. And then finally, we are asking that you all fill out the waiver and either email it to us. You can email it to Sharon or I or both of us before camp, or have it ready, printed out to turn in on the first day of camp. And those waivers, we did have to make some edits due to COVID. And so those are getting finalized, I believe, today, and should be available to you all by the end of the week, if not sooner. Any questions there? And of course, we'll continue to answer questions along the way. I don't see any in the chat box, Sharon, so we can continue on. All right, so now we're going to be getting into more of the details of how we've adjusted to keep your campers safe during COVID. This is your camper and your family's and our staff's safety is of the utmost importance. And we would not be hosting camp this summer if we didn't feel as if we could adjust in order to make safe protocols. And so we're going to go through several slides that go over how we are ensuring your safety and your camper's safety. These protocols were guided by regulations or requests from the CDC, from the ACA, which I believe stands for American Camp Association. Did I get that correct, Shroud? Thank you. As well as the San Diego Summer Camp Guidelines. We also chatted quite a bit with the Lawrence Family JCC, Jewish Community Center, who is hosting like a 400 student camp. We talked quite a bit with the YMCA. We have a close partnership with them. They're right across the street. And so we're not only taking these regulations on, the website, but we're also talking to these large organizations that are hosting camp this summer too, and ways that they're ensuring safety. So with that being said, one of the main ways we're doing this is by creating these camp pods. And so these pods will be groups of 12 students and no more than 4 staff members. Likely we might have fewer staff members, but it will be no more than that. These pods, including the staff members, will stay together throughout the week and will not have any interaction with the other pods. And so there will be a small cohort that will remain together, and there should be no cross interaction. With that being said, within the pod or within the cohort, there is not going to be the expectation that campers have to social distance within the pod. Of course, there will be even more than social distance between the pods, but not within the pods themselves. Each pod will be utilizing a separate restroom and will have their own set of supplies, so there will be no cross-contamination there. In addition to that, they will be in separate parts of the farm and will not have any activities that are going on at the same time that require them to be in the same area. And then in addition to that, parents, guardians, or other non-essential visitors will not be allowed to enter the farm camp area. So how drop-off and pickup is going to work is drop-off will begin each morning at 8:45 a.m. On the first morning of camp on Monday morning, you can arrive as early as 8:30 a.m. because we do anticipate that check-in the first morning may take a little bit longer with us having to go through waivers and not being used to the system yet. So you can arrive as early as 8:30 a.m. on the first day, and then we ask no earlier than 8:45 the rest of the week. As you arrive, you will be directed to park in our Apple lot. And if you've never been to our property before, no worries. We'll have either our security guard or other staff there directing you to where to park in the Apple lot. Once you've parked, we're asking that all campers and families remain in their vehicle. And the reason why we're asking that is because we will be going through a health screening before the camper is allowed to join the camp pod. And Sharon will be talking more about specifically what that health screening looks like. Once and only once the camper has been cleared through the health screening, they are welcome to exit the vehicle and join their specific pod. We are asking that no family members exit the car. And so I would encourage you, especially if you have a camper that's maybe a little, has more difficulty separating from you, just letting them know that and preparing them and then saying your goodbyes in the car, and we'll have the staff members there to be able to lead them over to the pod. And then at that point, with the consent of the person dropping them off, our staff person will go ahead and check them off on our roster, indicating that they have arrived at camp for the day. We also want to mention that with this check-in process, check-in or drop-off rather, may take a little bit longer, especially towards the beginning of the week as we and the campers are getting used to the process. So just be prepared that check-in may take about 10 to 15 minutes. It may take about that time to drop off. So we encourage you to arrive a little bit before 9 a.m. and potentially even a little earlier on the first day. And then pickup is very similar. You once again, or the authorized pickup person will be directed to park in the Apple lot in the same section as for drop off. Campers will be walked to the Apple lot as a pod with their staff members by 12:30. And then our staff person will go around to the vehicle. The authorized pickup person will remain in their vehicle and present some sort of photo ID or identification proving that they're the person that is on the authorized pickup list. And then we will go ahead and usher your student to that car, and with consent of the authorized pickup person, our staff person will go ahead and check off, indicating that they were picked up by an authorized member or person from camp. And the reason why we have that process with the identification is just to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody's going home with an authorized person. Sweet. Any questions about that or any of the other slides that I went over? Doesn't look like it.
Great, okay. So we're gonna move on to the health and wellness during camp. So as Megan mentioned, when you come in and you park in the Apple lot, we will do some kind of health screening and temperature check to be sure that your child is able to come to camp that day. And so that's why it will take a little bit longer as you're sitting in a car and we ask them a few questions and check their temperature. The camper temperature will be taken with a no contact thermometer. And so then, you know, if we do know if kids lean forward and they might touch it, we will have the antiseptic wipes so that when you get to the next camper, it is sanitized. And like Megan mentioned, the campers will be allowed to leave the vehicle only once they have been cleared. So the CDC guideline is that if anyone has a fever of 100.4 Fahrenheit or higher, if they have it at the moment, or if they've had it for the last 24 hours, or if they've had any other symptoms related to COVID, which will be part of the questions that we ask, then they will not be allowed to come to camp for the remainder of that day. And then we will be in touch with the family to know what's happening in the following day. So we want you to stay, for the families that are in the car, we would like for anyone in the car to make sure to have a mask while we're doing the screening and the windows are down. And please don't walk out of the car, and nobody will come out of the car until the screening is done. Again, just all for the safety of everyone around. Now, if your child is sick, please do not bring them to camp that day. And please contact us and let us know that they are sick. And if they're absent for any other reason, maybe you're decided to go to the beach that day with family, with grandma's in town or whatever, please just contact us to let us know for the reason of their absence. We will contact you if we don't hear from you, but it would be great if you could contact us first. Any questions over there? All right. We're moving on to masks and personal protective equipment. So as Megan mentioned, at beginning, when we first decided that we will be able to have camp, the Governor Newsom hadn't yet mandated all individuals to wear masks, especially children. And since as of June 18th, he has mandated that. So please make sure that your child has a cloth face mask with them, as they come out of the car, they have it on, and we'll walk over, with them to the farm camp with it on. We will do our best to make sure that the campers keep their their cloth face mask on when appropriate. So, when we're really close together, we're harvesting, again, when we can't, because we're not social distancing within the pod, whenever we are in close contact, we'll do our best to keep it on. And of course, when we're eating, then we will, the children will be allowed to take it off at that time. And so we know that with little ones, with a 4 and 5-year-olds, it's hard to have it on for so many hours. So like it says here, campers will be encouraged, right? We'll keep telling them and asking them. And then we also know that if it gets uncomfortable, if it gets too hot, right, that they can take it off. They might need to just a few minutes. They can wipe off their sweat. And if it's really uncomfortable, we will make sure to let you know and let the parents know, maybe to look into a different one. With that, camp staff will always be required to wear masks. So you will see staff around always wearing masks. And there will also be other farmers around, especially when one of the pods, they're using one of the restrooms that is close to where the barn is and other farmers are. And so those farmers will also be wearing masks all the time, especially when the children are around. But we already do as a staff. There's 20 of us in education and production. Whenever we come around the same area, everyone makes sure to put on their mask. And lastly, when working with the food, the camp staff will be required to wear disposable gloves. So if they're helping your child in opening their snack bag or opening anything, or perhaps helping your child with cutting up any of the vegetables that they harvested, they will make sure to wear gloves. Are we all good?
We have a question. Can we email the waiver? And yes, we will be emailing the waiver. Sharon, will you be emailing it to everybody this week or the week before?
No, everybody this week will get it.
Great. So you should expect it this week.
All right. So in terms of health communication, so how will the communication work? So the staff, and especially Megan and I, we get daily updates from San Diego County guidelines and the CDC to make sure we're staying on top of all regulations. So that's the first thing that we're always doing every morning before camp starts. We will make sure that all staff will remind campers daily on how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And so, the first day we will have, more of a presentation on it, make sure we talk about it. We'll have all the guidelines posted everywhere. We'll have them up. I'm sure your kids are used to some of it by now. With that, we'll just make sure the kids really understand what it is we're asking for them here at our camp. And then every day after that, it'll just be kind of reminders. We might, make it more of like a game, like, okay, who can remind us? What do we do when we go to the bathroom? And what do we do after we eat? Just about hand washing and sanitizing and all of that. So we really are, safety is our number one priority. And we will just always take, extra caution when it comes to that. Now, in the case of a potential COVID-19 exposure, whether it is during the health screening or during the day or perhaps at night, someone has emailed us to let us know, all camp families will be notified via email about this, and the names will be kept confidential. No one will know which camper it is that has been exposed to COVID-19. However, the pod in which that child is in will know that it's within that pod. So everybody will know about that, and just to keep everybody informed. And once we do find out about that, the Coastal Roots Farm Administration, that includes Megan and I, Javier Guerrero, who's our executive director, Denise Naylor, who's our HR manager, we as an administration will decide whether to send that child and the associated pod they belong in home for the remainder of the session. we know this is all new for everyone, and safety is our highest priority. And we also know not everything is black and white. It's not that, you know, right away we say that's it, we cancel it for the pod for the week. Again, we'll look at each situation individually and we'll decide from there. And if a session is canceled due to potential COVID-19 exposure, whether it's one pod that is asked not to come back, or the whole, both pods, all 24 campers, then all families will have the choice of a prorated refund or credit. We know these are really uncharted times and uncharted territories. We want to have camp here. We're doing whatever we can. And so for us, you know, we're really happy just to refund the family and say, we tried, we really tried, and it didn't work for this week. And, you know, you can have a refund or a credit for this session.
So we did have another question asking how many children are registered for camp in a given week, and we have a max of 24 campers. So 12 in each pods, and then there will be 2 pods.
Great. All right, so moving on to the cleaning and disinfecting portion. So you will know that campers will wash their hands throughout the day and be reminded not to touch their face, including eyes and mouth. There will be signs everywhere the kids go, whether it's by the water cooler or in the restrooms or by the, you know, the snack tables. They will know throughout the day to continue to wash their hands, and they'll be reminded not to touch their face. And if they've, you know, after they've eaten, you know, go wash your hands again and don't touch your eyes and mouth on the way to washing your hands. Communal spaces, those are things like restrooms. So each pod has their own restroom that they use, their own restroom building. However, within that restroom building, that will be cleaned and disinfected several times throughout the day, as well as the tables that pod shares. So you can see behind this lovely camper who's cleaning one of our, I think it's a rake that she's cleaning. She's doing a great job. Those tables right there behind her is where the kids, that type of tables where the kids will be sitting and eating their snack. So those tables will be sanitized and cleaned throughout the day as well. And again, it's always changing, new regulations are coming out. So these sanitizing protocols will be kept up to date based on updated guidelines that we receive. All right, awesome. All right, moving on to our favorite part of camp. So we talked to other camps, other farm camps across the country actually, and talked about, you know, coming to farm camp, the biggest highlight is being able to harvest your own produce and make a snack out of it. And we couldn't imagine farm camp without this portion. And so here are the modifications that we made in order to make this happen and for everyone to be happy with it. Campers may only consume the produce that they harvest themselves. So they're gonna go out there, they're gonna find the cucumber and the tomato and the zucchini and some edible flowers and some lettuce and so many other things that are growing, and they will harvest for themselves. They will get a colander, they will put everything in their colander, they will go wash it, and they will take that over to where they're sitting, and that is the food that they're gonna eat. So they will not share with anyone else from what anyone else has harvested. No food sharing will be permitted, even if a camper brings a snack from home in a sealed package. So as Megan mentioned, even if you're sending multiple children from the same household, please bring them each with their own snack bag, and you know they're gonna eat what the snack that's inside their snack bag. Again, it's just about keeping us all safe. Anyways, we know sharing, there are a lot of sharing rules in schools anyways, and we're just taking it one step more with saying these are times in which we're not going to share any of the food. We're just going to keep everything for ourselves, even if it comes from home, even if it's in a sealed package. You're just going to keep it for yourself. Before harvesting, the campers will wash their hands and use hand sanitizer. So, you know, as they're going out there, our hands will be clean. And then again, after they've harvested, they'll go to the sink and they'll wash it again. So it's a double cleaning of the vegetables and fruit. And as they get to their table and they prepare their snack, each camper will have their own set of cutting board, a kid-friendly knife, and a colander for personal use throughout the week. It'll be theirs to keep. It'll be kept separately just for them throughout the week. And so that will not be shared. And then at the end of the week, we will go through a deep sanitization for the following session. All right. So that is it for the protocols. If you have any questions, you can take a picture of the screen, or you can look us up on the website. Megan and my phone numbers are here. Please feel free to call us, to text us, even if it's after camp hours, to let us, if you have any questions, any concerns. You can email us as well, and you can always go onto our farm camp page for more information.